In this video, I'm going to continue summarizing the quest lore for the Blood Elf starting zone, which frankly has turned into a gigantic mess. For some reason, Blizzard decided to not go in a linear route with these quests, but this was all done before Cataclysm, which they fixed a lot of stuff in that expansion. Not everything, but a good chunk of it. So for this one, if you didn't watch last week's episode, I highly recommend that you watch that by clicking the link right above over here. It's almost required to understand what's going on at this point. Having said that, if you've already watched last week's, then let's get back into it and find out what's going on in World of Warcraft. Last time we left off in the lower section of Eversong Woods, near the border of the Ghostlands. We were instructed to speak to Rune Warden Durian and find out what happened with the protection stones that kept the Scourge out of the area. He says that you must have been sent from Fairbreeze village, and that he knew it was only a matter of time before help arrived. Durian says that the ancient runestones once powered a protective barrier across the Eversong border. Many of the stones were destroyed when Kael'thas attacked. Others were stolen. Out of the 3 that remain, this one right here is the only one that retained its power. The runestone to the east might be salvageable though. Durian wants you to take a special crystal and use it to instill its energy on the runestone, but says to make sure that the Scourge don't destroy it, because once you give power to it again, it's gonna attract the Scourge right away. So now you head out to the east and arrive at the runestone. Once you get there, you set down the crystal to give the stone some power, and immediately fight off the enemies that come to destroy it. After that's done, you head out of there, and back to the original runestone, so you can report to Durian. Upon telling him that everything is powered up, he says that the defenses should hold off the Scourge for a little bit longer. Now that things are a bit calmer in the south, it's about time that we head back up to Sunsail Anchorage and kill the wretched that overrun the area. So you head out of there and make your way to the northwest. But on your way out there, you run into Valandra's Whitemorn and Captain Kael'thas. Valandra says that the wretched grow bolder every day, and that they've even been able to coordinate an attack on Sunsail Anchorage. Because the Blood Elves were forced to abandon the harbor when they attacked, they were forced to leave a lot of their weapons behind. So Valandris wants you to gather 8 Sendori armaments while you're over in Sunsail Anchorage. Now, when speaking to Captain Kael'thas, she says that the Murlocs in the area stole her cargo. So apart from the wretched stealing anything magical that she had, the Murlocs took everything else. Captain Kael'thas wants you to recover 6 pieces of her cargo from the Grimscale Murlocs encampment located on the Golden Strand. So now you head out and arrive at Sunsail Anchorage. Once there, you kill 5 wretched thugs and 5 wretched hooligans. Then you gather the 8 weapon armaments lying around. Once that's done, you head out to the Golden Strand and collect Captain Kael'thas' stolen stuff. While you're on the coast, you speak to Hathvelian Sungaze, who tells you that our shore has been infested by Murlocs, and they need to go. So he wants you to bring back 8 Grimscale Murloc heads, which you have no problem doing because it's not like you haven't cut a head off before. So you head down to the coast, kill the Murlocs for their heads, and report back to Hathvelian. He says that maybe we can make a soup with the heads that you brought back, but also that the Murlocs are not in a full-on retreat from what you did. And he thinks he knows what could drive them away from this place. The Murlocs have a leader that go by the name of... Seriously, that's his name. Hathvelian has a friend that was killed by... And that friend had a ring which the Murloc leader now wears, in order to mock the Blood Elf Rangers. So Hathvelian wants you to kill the Murloc leader and bring back the ring. With him dead, that might drive the Murlocs to leave the area. So you head out again and make your way up to... Then you fight him to the death and loot his body for the ring. After that, you return to Hathvelian. As you hand him his friend's ring, he's thrilled knowing that the Murlocs are now leaderless, and gives you thanks for having taken care of this situation. He then rewards you with either the Farstrider's buckler or the slightly used Ranger's blade. Slightly used. Well, I guess it's better than nothing. Now, while you were killing the Murlocs, you came across a leather tube containing some parchment, which happened to look like navigation rudders, and each one has Captain Kael'thas' signature on it. Now, here's the funny part. The bottom of it says that you've heard of a small defended camp east of Sunsail Anchorage, and maybe this captain will be there. Yeah, Blizzard. Already talked to her. Why do you think I was here on the beach in the first place? Man, this place is a mess. Anyways, you head back to the camp, and once you arrive, you speak to Valendris and hand him the lost weapons. He congratulates you by rewarding either the rusty Sindori sword or the rusty mace, because that's exactly what we want, a rusty weapon. First we get a slightly used ranger blade, and now we get a rusty weapon. Thanks, Valendris. Now you speak with Captain Kelisendra and hand her the stolen cargo. She's really happy that you were able to get everything back, and she can't wait to get out of here, stating that she'll come back after Valendris retakes the shipyard. You also hand her the lost navigation rudders, which she's really thankful because there's no way she can navigate the seas without those. Just gonna note something about this quest. The text hints that you were supposed to find these rudders way before you even met Captain Kelisendra, because when you present the rudders to her, she acts as if she's never met you before. I don't think Blizzard thought this one through very well. If you want to read it, look up the quest Lost Rudders. So, now that you've taken care of her cargo, Valendris wants to talk to you again, and says that the wretched are completely oblivious, and haven't realized that we've just recovered the majority of our weapons. So right now is the perfect time to attack, and Valendris wants you to go for the wretched leader, Aldarin, and bring back his head, because we all know that Blood Elves love decapitating people. So you head out from the camp, and make your way to the main tower near Sunsail Anchorage. Once you reach the top, you fight Aldarin to the death, and remove his head, just like you've done all the other times. Now that that's done, you head back to the camp, and directly up to Valendris. He's surprised that you were able to take him down, but also mentions that his men must have softened him up for you. Either way, he rewards you with the Sunsail bracers. Now that that's done, I think it's safe to head back to Fairbreeze village. I know I've said it a lot, but this whole area has been one gigantic mess. But you know what? We just keep going and hope that this thing gets better. So you head out from the camp and begin your journey all the way back up to Fairbreeze village. Once you arrive, you speak with Velen Brightoak. And to recap, you were sent out to gather pelts from animals in the local area. After handing those over to him, he rewards you with either the fur-lined breastplate or the spring paw hide cloak, and says that with more pelts, he'll be able to make more armor. Now you make your way over to speak to Ranger Degolian. He was the one who sent you to kill all the wretched over at Sunsail Anchorage. Now that you've done that, he says that your help in subduing the wretched has been invaluable, and that the Farstriders would love to have your help against the Amani trolls. They can be located at the Farstrider retreat to the northeast of here, and when you get there, you should speak to Lieutenant Dawnrunner to see what you can do to help out. But before you head out there, you run up to Skymaster Bright Dawn. Now, to recap on this one, Sathiel in Fairbreeze village needed supplies from Silvermoon, and she sent you to go get them. So, we need to take care of this. You hand over Sathiel's request to the Skymaster, and take a trip all the way into Silvermoon City. Once you arrive, you run in to speak to Sathran Azurdawn. He kind of freaks out with how large the list is, and because you don't have a mount that can carry all of the supplies that are requested, he gives you what you can to carry back on a flight. Now, before we head back to Fairbreeze village, we need to start picking up the party supplies for that Salthariel guy. You remember him? We definitely put him off on the side for a very long time. He's the guy who likes to throw parties when it's never really a good time to throw a party. But one of the items that you need is located here in Silvermoon. And since these items that we need to get are pretty spread out, and the fact that we're trying to summarize things here, these are the different areas that you need to travel to in order to pick up the party supplies. So let's just assume that you do that. Once things are done here in Silvermoon, you head out of town and speak with Sky Mistress Gloaming to catch a flight all the way back to Fairbreeze village. Once you land, you run up to speak to Sathiel. She seems kind of annoyed because what you brought back doesn't look like everything she asked for. But you mentioned to her that the guy in Silvermoon is gonna send the rest of the stuff via ground transportation. So that doesn't bug her too much, and she compensates you with some money for having done the delivery. Now you head out of the tower and start to head all the way back to Saltharel's Haven. Once you arrive, you speak with Saltharel and hand him the stuff for his party. He thanks you and hands you an invite to the actual party that he's throwing, and says to dress up in something a little bit more festive the next time you drop in. Yeah, we're not going to that party. In fact, we're just never gonna visit this place again, because we've got pressing matters over near the Farstrider retreat. So you make your way out, and head all the way across the Dead Scar to arrive at Farstrider Retreat in order to see what you can do to help with the Amani troll situation. I'm just gonna say it, Blood Elf starting zone has become the worst. I thought that Bloodhoof Village was really bad, and you can check that out by clicking this link over here. But this This place takes the cake. I know that what we're doing here is simply summarizing quest lore, but I can't help to mention how unorganized this zone is. Plus, there's no main plot to anything that we're doing. We started talking about the Scourge, but after a while, the quests don't even have anything to do with Arthas and his attack. The art here is great. Storytelling is lacking. Plus, this place is super long, but we're gonna get through this together. Wow, I am not looking forward to doing the Draenei zone at all because I know they're going to be very, very similar because they were made at the same time. But like I said, we're just going to keep going. So if this is your kind of material that you like to watch, consider subscribing to the channel. And a huge shout out to the Patreon members for supporting this project. Couldn't have kept going on without all of you. If you'd like to help out, then go ahead and check out the Patreon link down below. And with that, we'll see you next week when we find out what happens next in the Tales of Azeroth. So Valendris wants you to gather 8 Sindori